This video made use of AI to dub the audio from Punjabi to English, but we have not used AI to change or alter anything anybody has said in this video, and all of the words that you hear are direct translations of the original speech. After moving to Canada to continue his studies and sharpen his skills as a singer-songwriter on the side, soon Sidhu Moosewala would have the opportunity of a lifetime to break into the music industry, when he would land a massive placement as a songwriter when he wrote the track License for another Punjabi rapper called Ninja, being credited prominently on the cover as the writer under his given name Shubdeep Sidhu. Now sitting at over 20 million views, the track became a hit, and Sidhu's talent for songwriting was undeniable. He would later perform the song himself upon his return home to Punjab at his old GNE college. Sidhu then spent the next year honing his craft and writing skills, garnering up a list of massive singles of his own. Eventually he would release his debut song from this collection of recordings, a track titled G-Wagon, which came out on the 2nd of July 2017, a track which was a sudden hit that quickly put Sidhu on the radar of Punjabi music fans. The song itself was a much more traditional Punjabi pop song, and Sidhu, whilst displaying his talent as a singer, hadn't quite yet fully fused his style with the American hip-hop elements that would later make his music so unique. But he had begun his solo career, and from here he would continue developing as an artist song by song. From there, he would slowly put out 9 tracks that comprised his debut album, with him improving and evolving each time. This was an unconventional release strategy, but it worked well for him. His next track was Mustang, which would circulate later in July 2017. Now the beat itself was a very generic American hip-hop beat, but it's kind of like a crappy stock beat from like Hip Hop EJ from 2016. But Sidhu took that beat and he sung and rapped in his native tongue Punjabi, with the end result being incredibly original. Despite being a Punjabi track, thematically, Sidhu's music was dealing with topics much more at home on an American gangster rap album. Fast cars were becoming a clear motif, with his 2 tracks released so far being inspired by cars popular in America, the G-Wagon and a Mustang. Sidhu would also rap about his ops chasing him with their foot on the gas pedal as he clutches a Draco, the gun beloved by drill rappers from all over the world, with Sidhu claiming that his Draco sings the tune of his enemies' funerals. He was spitting. Mustang would be followed up by more music like the track Lifestyle featuring Banker, which leaked in late July and was uploaded to YouTube in November 2017. The track titled Lifestyle was a stark look at the street lifestyle that Sidhu had grown up living, with references to armed conflicts with his ops, revenge killings, and living and dying by the gun. He would rap that his AK-47 keeps an eye out for him, as well as having guns and bullets tattooed on his body. He'd talk about having a gangster state of mind that runs in his blood and killing any ops that stood in their way, with Sidhu rapping all about sticking people up at gunpoint and how the country boys used to run their town. Sidhu was jumping on the mic and talking gangster like a real drill rapper, and people were loving it. All of this momentum was leading up to a breakthrough moment. Sidhu was honing a unique musical style, blending the Punjabi flavour of music with gritty lyrics about the gun-toting street life he grew up around, and soon the world would wake up to this unique style in a big way. In August 2017, Sidhu released his first breakthrough single, the astronomical hit titled So High. The song itself now sits at over 750 million views, by far one of his biggest songs to date. This track reached numbers that many of the mainstream artists in the West would dream of attaining, and the track itself was a textbook example of why they call Sidhu Moosewala the Tupac of India. It had a booming beat that was like a timeless American rap beat, and in his bars, he was rapping about American tropes like having lowriders and appearing in the video surrounded by gangsters in what I assume is the trenches of Canada. The song itself painted a dark picture of a life of crime and violence in a way that few Punjabi musicians had done before, rapping about guns, claiming his hobbies are dangerous and life-threatening, with Sidhu claiming to keep loaded pistols on him and making the local gangsters fear him. Sidhu also seems to show a certain amount of self-awareness on the track, explaining how his gangster approach to music has landed him big record deals in Canada, and he goes on to brag about how dropping 4 singles in a month had other pop stars intimidated by his monumental rise. And Sidhu was spitting facts. In the space of just a few months, having released G-Wagon, Mustang, Lifestyle, and So High, he had become one of the most buzzing prospects in the Punjabi music scene. So High set the standard for Sidhu's career, and he essentially cemented his legacy, as this track alone almost birthed an entire new genre of Western-inspired Punjabi music, as he would mix his hybrid singing and rapping style over traditional folk Punjabi instruments and melodies, combining that with Western trap 808 beats, much more at home in an Atlanta strip club than a small Punjabi village. The song So High resonated deeply, and not only in Punjab itself, but also with the westernized South Asian communities living in the West, such as in the UK, and particularly Canada, where Sidhu had studied. And Sidhu was seemingly a genius at blending this Western gangster rap culture with his native Punjabi elements, and he did it in a way that unlocked a new audience of over 1 billion people around the world. One great example of this actually occurred just 2 months after dropping his hit song So High, around the time of Atlanta rapper 21 Savage, who was going viral for his interview where he famously described the tattoo on his forehead, saying, "It's a knife."
What does the cross on your forehead signify?
It's a knife.
Sidhu would go on to drop a new song with a Punjabi play on words based on 21 Savage's catchphrase Issa Knife, with Sidhu's new song being titled Issa Jatt. Featuring violent lyrics over a booming trap beat, Issa Jatt now sits at over 90 million views. And of course, Jatt doesn't mean knife. Jatt actually refers to the landowning class in Sidhu's native Musa in Punjab, with the implication being that these are the tough, hardworking people who are warriors, with a suggestion that some of these Jats are indeed hardcore gangsters too. And in the lyrics, Sidhu raps about pulling up on his ops, with them running scared and screaming Issa Jatt. The song itself contained numerous lyrics and references to guns. Sidhu would also talk with confidence about his career, bragging that he's stealing the fans' hearts with his prolific run of dropping 9 songs in 15 days. And following the success of Issa Jatt, Sidhu wasn't about to take his foot off the gas, and in early January, Sidhu would drop another major hit in his catalogue, the track Just Listen, which now sits at over 211 million views. The song itself was a boastful affair, less concerned with lyrics about violence and more focused on Sidhu standing up to his haters, and explaining how his work rate has the music industry hateful and jealous towards him, as well as hinting at the greatness that was on the way for his music career. This was a breakthrough moment for Sidhu on an international level, as Just Listen ended up becoming his first internationally charting single, landing at number 12 in the UK's Asian music charts. And from here, Sidhu continues his spree of hit singles with 3 more tracks. 2 of those songs, Tochan and Famous, also landed on the same charts at number 20 and 17 respectively. The love song It's All About You was very much for the ladies, which had a music video dropping on Valentine's Day 2018, a video which today sits at over 115 million views. By this point, Sidhu was getting his first live show bookings, but these weren't without controversy, as people would turn up to protest against his vulgar and violent lyrics. However, the controversy was only helping Sidhu cultivate a bad boy image. Sidhu would continue his momentum with his next single, Tochan, which had a huge budget music video. The video dropped on May the 17th, 2018, and today has a whopping 340 million views. The tractor-themed video would pay homage to his farming roots, with the song's hook using a slick double entendre to threaten his ops with being dragged from the back of a tractor if they cross him. The song was a unique Punjabi spin on gangster rap that felt completely fresh and exciting. On the song, Sidhu would sing and chant in his native Punjabi tongue about having shooters on his team, doing this over another unique beat that blended those Punjabi melodies with American hip-hop 808 drum patterns, making for a certified banger that doesn't sound like anything else in the West. But even more interesting was the outro of the song, where Sidhu would deliver an uplifting message reminding his listeners of their revolutionary spirit, and warning the listener that the people he represents aren't the sweet-talking businessmen who like to be flashy, but actually the down-and-out Jats who drive tractors and have short tempers. This was a kind of warning to the world that Sidhu is the leader and the voice of this working-class youth of Jats who he represented with his music. It was deep stuff, borderline revolutionary, and one of the most striking reasons that Sidhu Moosewala has been compared with Tupac Shakur. Because beyond making great music that spoke the language of his generation, Tupac also used his music and profile as a platform to promote political messages of black empowerment. His music was intended to uplift and electrify his generation of inner-city youths in America, and that was perhaps what made Tupac so dangerous to the establishment. Sidhu's next banger was the appropriately titled track Famous, and the song itself was kind of Sidhu's own announcement to the world that he was indeed famous. It was one of those songs where a rapper goes from next up to actually up. By this point in his career, Sidhu had truly arrived, and in the song, he would rap about the fact that people now pay to meet him, and now he has haters burning with jealousy, as well as having losers trying to be famous by trying to fight with him. And this was all true, because by now, Sidhu Moosewala was a huge star. His next song, Dark Love, with a video released on July the 6th, 2018, today has an insane 177 million views. And this video depicted Sidhu as a kingpin executing his ops, as well as rapping about being a killer who fell in love and how his G-Wagon had been used in murders, suggesting that he's now got that same G-Wagon following a woman. Now, whether or not Sidhu Moosewala was actually arranging murders at this point is debatable, but what was true was the fact that since he became the hottest thing in Punjabi music, he had a lot of people pissed off, and in the midst of all of his musical output, a rivalry was brewing in the scene that had the potential to turn violent, and soon, fans who wanted to crown Sidhu Moosewala as India's Tupac might have just found their Biggie Smalls.